All right. So, it's September 22nd, 2023. Unity has released their update to their upgraded pricing plans. There's a lot of really nice things to it, and we're going to go over a good chunk of it because I feel like it's necessary to actually go over. Um, that being said, I am not a proper developer. I'm working on my first commercial game. I've made a game jam game. I have one started in the background that was like going to be my big project. Like I need to make a little project to get better. There's another game jam coming at the end of the month. Learning a new engine has been like pulling teeth for me because I've been using Unity since like God knows when, um, on and off for like at least 5 or 6 years, maybe more. Um, just to kind of get a feel for game development because I always wanted to get in game development. I've always wanted to be a game developer. Even as a kid, I wanted to be an animator. Um, and it wasn't until this year that I decided to actually make a game to sell. And then Unity released their upgrade or their install fee, runtime fee plan, and it threw everything for a loop because we couldn't quantify what installs they were. They changed their terms of service. They were being assholes on their forums. Like a lot of things went south really quickly. Um, so they released a new update to their runtime fees. God, my nose is so itchy, and it's better. Not 100%, but better. So I would like to go over it with you because I do intend to finish Horde Game in Unity now, while looking at other engines and maybe studying them over the next couple of months and years to maybe switch over eventually to Unreal or Godot or whatever happens. So, the changes to the pricing plan. So the runtime fee program is now what it is. It's what it's called instead of the installs or whatever. So Unity Personal got some massive upgrades. There's no more. There's no runtime fee on it at all. So if you ever make any money on Personal, you don't owe them anything, just like it was before. Um, and the splash screen is now optional, which a lot of people are really happy about. I didn't really care too much about the splash screen. Um, that's just me though. I don't care. When the splash screens come up, I'm usually doing something else, so I don't really care. Um, but yeah, the Unity Personal Plan will remain free, and there is no runtime fee for games built with the plan. We will increase the annual revenue funding from 100,000 to 200,000 USD, and will remove the requirement to use made with Unity splash screen, starting with the LTS version 2024, currently referred to as 2023 LTS or later. So what that means is, if you want to use that information, if you want to remove the splash screen, if you want this $200,000 limit or whatever, um, you have to be using 2023 long-term service, which it is what it is. Um, Honestly, it's kind of worth it at this point, unless they dramatically change things in the next coming days, which, who knows? That's what the loss of trust is about. I'm not 100% advocating, go for Unity, use it. I'm saying, if you have a current project and it's way too far gone, or you feel like it's too far gone, stick with Unity for now and learn another engine in the background. So the runtime fee looking forward, the runtime fee does not apply to any games created with the currently supported Unity versions. It only applies to games created with the upcoming upgraded to the LTS version, released 2024, currently released to 2023 LTS. So, Horde Game, which is currently being made on 2022 LTS, I believe, would not be affected by the runtime fee at all. I have no worries about the runtime fee applying to me at all in any way because it's being on the 2022. Now, again, just like they did with the terms of service, that could change dramatically. They could go in and just kind of change it. But I'm pretty sure people are now taking screenshots and reports and making videos like this and saying, hey, this is exactly what it said when it came out. You're screwing with us again. Like, it's over kind of thing. Like, literally, if they change anything from this point on about any of this information, I'm out. I will forego creating a game this year, and I will learn a new engine. I will dedicate myself to learning a new engine and to painting my Warhammer, and that'll be my free time. Editor terms. I didn't read this one. We will make sure that you can stay on the terms applicable to. Oh, okay. Terms applicable to your version of Unity you are currently using, as long as you keep using that version. So again, basically the same thing as runtime fee. As long as you're using that version of Unity, whatever terms of service existed at that time is what you're following. The runtime fee self-reporting on a monthly basis, you will have a choice of a lesser of 2.5% revenue share, or the calculated amount based on unique initial engagements. That's their new way of saying installs, but it's unique initial engagements. Both your initial engagements and your revenue are self-reported from data you already have available. You will always be billed the lesser of the amount. Now, the wording there is a little funky to me because it basically says if you want to always use the 2.5%, but your calculated amount is lesser, you're going to be charged the lesser amount. I'm like, I would really like the option to be like, just do the 2.5% because that's a fixed number. And it would be really nice to be like, hey, my game made a shit ton of money and this is the lesser amount. I don't have to pay the 2.5%. I gained more money. But I'm like, I just like the solidified number, the 2.5%. I really like the idea of like, this is what you pay. I like that. But it's also me being weird. And then we get into the frequently asked questions. So I started looking into some of these. A lot of it is basically just redefinitions and clarity on previous events. So, how do I report my data? Both revenue and initial engagements are self-reported. We will work with customers and partners to develop tools and procedures to make this as easy as possible for customers. Right now, if you have a game that is affected by the LTS, or not the LTS, the runtime fee, which is until next year, um, all of your information that you are reporting will be coming from your Steam download trackers, your Epic trackers, all the information you already have, how much money you made, all these things. You already have it all. They're not going to sneak, or at least they're saying they're not going to sneak in some secret download tracker or install tracker. They're not going to like hide something in there with the Iron Source malware company they bought or whatever. At least that's what they're saying. And again, take everything here with a grain of salt because it could change in a year or two. This is basically just confirming that the LTS 2023 will be the first one actually affected by the runtime fee and all these changes. What is the runtime fee? On a monthly basis, your games will be subject to runtime fee. You will have a choice either the lesser of 25%, 2.5% rather, or the calculated amount based on the initial engagement. We've already gone over that. What defines initial engagement? This one's quite long. When you first introduced the runtime fee, you used installs, which was unclear and a horrible word to use because install has a vast quantity of definitions and they did not clarify it at all. They also came up with a lot of random bullshit that's like the unique data module or proprietary data module, and people were being rude on the forum. Like Unity employees were being rude on the forums. It was not a good time. Luckily, it's been a week and everyone's kind of cooled down, so it's okay. We define initial engagement to mean the moment that a distinct end user successfully and legitimately acquires, downloads, or engages with a game powered by the Unity runtime for the first time in a distributed channel. I read that and I was like, cool, this basically means if I buy the game on Unity, or Unreal rather, that's one initial unique engagement. If I do it again on Steam, that's a separate initial unique engagement. That makes sense because we devs can't actually tell who is buying our games. Because if you have a username on Steam and someone else has the same username on Unreal, those are two completely different people. Same name, different people. I get that. That makes sense to me. We use the word distinct because we do not want to worry about situations where it is impossible to tell players apart, such as a game deployed in a public space, such as a trade show floor. You can count such a situation as if it was one player. That feels weird because if I'm bringing my stuff to the showroom floor to play, to show off, I have downloaded it onto the computers or the consoles or whatever. I did that. It's not a different player, it's me. So I would feel weird. I mean, it's only going to be the one engagement, but still, that feels weird to actually put that definition in there of like, if you go to a showroom floor and you're playing a game, all people playing that game count as one player. It shouldn't count at all because the devs have to install that. So that's weird to me. We use the word legitimate because we do not want to bill you for activity from piracy or from people obtaining the game fraudulently. This was a big thing the whole time because people were like, if Unity can track installs and differentiate between the installs, that would basically mean they've solved piracy in the gaming industry. And that technology alone would revolutionize, yeah, the gaming space as it is. And they would make more money off of selling that tech to companies than they would for the install fees. So I kind of figured they didn't actually have the tech inside to do that because again, they would have solved install fees and they haven't. Not install fees, piracy, which they haven't. We use the term for the first time because we do not want to charge you for players playing your game multiple times, reinstalling your game, or installing it on another device. Again, this comes down to if I own it on Steam, I own it on Steam. The initial buy is initial engagement. That's what that means. That's what that does. That's awesome. If I get it on Epic, that's a completely different engagement. Now, Epic has this games free thing, so I don't know if that would count as engagement as well. I don't have a game up on Epic, so I don't know. But that's something other devs can look into. I don't think it's going to affect me until far in the future. By in a distribution channel, we mean that you are given end user the runtime fee will be charged once each method of obtaining the game. For example, if you buy the game on 2 different app stores, blah, blah, blah. The same thing I've already said. How does Unity expect me to measure the number of initial engagements? Basically, number of units sold or first-time downloaders. That's basically that, which it makes sense. For a game with upfront players, using the number of units sold is an acceptable estimate. Subtracting units where the end user requires a refund can make the estimate even more accurate. First-time downloaders, for a game with no upfront player payment, distributors can provide a number of distinct user accounts that downloaded a game for the first time. This is also an acceptable estimate. It is an event that typically occurs only once for the end user. That right there is basically meant for free-to-play mobile games and stuff like that. Because with the option of rev share or the runtime fee, effectively what it means is, hey, you can report as many people who downloaded your game, but you've only made X amount of money. You only have to pay 2.5% of that X amount, rather than this ridiculously upscaling number that we cannot actually properly track, and we're going to bankrupt your company. So that's our answer to that. Is basically it's like, hey, the 2.5% works great for free-to-play devs because you can make whatever you want and then just give us the 2.5%. So that's nice for that was a big concern for a lot of actual people like focusing on the problem was like this could financially ruin a lot of free-to-play devs. Our games distributed. Okay, so this one's up in the air right now because I don't think that's supposed to be the way it is. Our games distributed through subscription services, streaming services, or as WebGL applications required to pay the runtime fee. It says yes, but a lot of indie devs put their games up on like itch.io, and yeah, you can kind of track engagement on there. I think I haven't actually checked that. Let me check my own. So in a way, you can kind of look at it because here's my views, here's the downloads. Here's the browser play, so you can kind of track when the game's been, used. This was Reigns Complete Zombies. This is the first game made for Ludum Dare. You can see it's had more than 15 views, and it kind of goes up and down until now, which is 0. It's had like a couple downloads, one download in September. Had a lot of browser plays in May because that's when the last Ludum Dare was, and it tells you, where were you referred, YouTube, itch.io, and then tells you right down here all the actual numbers. So, I've had the initial one, the web game's 59 views, 0 downloads, 1 collection. So you can track it on itch.io, which is kind of nice. But I believe that information is more or less for big web games, like big web games. Like the old Toss the Turtle game that's now its own actual game, that would probably require that information to be set up. For some of my distribution channels, I do not receive data that can use accurate blah blah blah. In these cases in which your game has crossed the necessary threshold, we're going to use the revenue share. So basically, if you can't actively track anything, just do 2.5%. Does installing the same game multiple devices count as runtime fee, multiple devices engagement? Blah, blah, blah. As long as they're on the different distribution channels, you're fine. Sorry, I'm speaking really fast because I'm realizing this video is going to be very very long. I realized, I looked down, I'm like, oh, I've only recorded for 1 minute because I stopped and started again. Does installing and reinstalling the game 2 separate engagements? No. For a given end user and distribution channels, there can only be 1 initial engagement event, which happens the first time the user plays the game. If the end user later uninstalls or reinstalls the game, there is no additional initiation or initial engagement. This is worded a little funny. Which happens the first time the user plays the game. Legitimately, they should have just gone with like purchase or download, something like a concrete number rather than first time the user plays the game. Because plays the game, I've bought tons of games on Steam that I have not played, but it is what it is. Can I get a discount or custom deal to runtime fee? That's for like the massive devs. I'm not even gonna bother with that one. Who's in charge of the Unity runtime fee? You may work with a publisher or to publish game, and use terms to support your ability to distribute through a publisher. It may be optional to have the publisher connect. Basically, saying whoever has the numbers talks to Unity. Uh, do I still need to pay my Unity subscription fee? Yes. I mean, that's fine. I've never had a problem with the subscription fees. I've never had a problem with RevShare. It was literally just the way they were going to track installs and the changing the terms of service and being assholes. Those were the three big things that was like, this is wrong. How does Unity estimate the runtime fee? I have not supplied data. Well, we always recommend you supply your own data. In the absence of that, you will just use we will use our own data from Unity services that you have agreed to integrate into your project and readily available external data. So that feels a bit funny to me. I don't know exactly what data is already in Unity, but I assume they're going to put something into the 2023 release to be like, hey, this is what we're going to track your data. So yeah, Unity services that you have agreed to integrate into your project. So I don't know much about how Unity actually works on the back end at all. Not much on the front end either. But that wording is a little weird, but it's whatever. Hopefully other people smarter than me will clarify that. How are non-gaming applications impacted by Unity's runtime fee? The Unity runtime fee does not apply to our film, gambling, or education subscription plans at this time. I didn't know they had a gambling subscription plan. That's weird. The Unity runtime fee does not apply to industry customers or Unity industry subscription plan. Industry customers who have questions about Unity runtime fee or deploying and monetizing Unity runtime threshold reach out to the accounting. Okay, interesting. Does Unity runtime phone home by default? It does not, unless you have hardware stats enabled. Someone capture that and put it up on something somewhere so we have that saved. For the runtime fee, what are Group A and Group B countries? What the fuck? Group A and Group B represent the countries at the end user agreements engagement. Group A countries have tiered rates and include Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, blah 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 blah. And United States country B are a flat discounted rate and represent all other countries not in Group A. I'm gonna look at them because I don't know what that means. How do I calculate the runtime fee? They actually provided a calculator. I don't know where it is. Okay, so what's it said as the editor terms on GitHub? We are republishing the GitHub repository where you can find all versions of our Unity editor software additional terms, previously titled Unity Software Additional Terms, from June 28, 2016 for a complete list of Unity's. Cool, so they're putting the terms of service back in place. That's awesome. What are you changing in the terms? The last changes we made April 3rd, 2023. We will make sure that you can stay on the terms applicable to the version of Unity that you're using. As long as you keep using that version, we will post these changes on GitHub repository and Unity and the unity.com/legal. That's one of the biggest things I was looking for. I needed them to have in writing somewhere on their website, and I can literally just take a screenshot because I'm going to, that whatever version of Unity you're running, you stick to that terms of service. Now they can change that whenever they want. But if they do, that is like the final, I'm saying it for myself, that is the final break. If they change the terms of services again so you can't keep using the terms of service from the edition you're using, I'll be mad. Because that's 100% being like, no. So, changes to Unity Plus plans. Is the price increase of Unity Pro and Enterprise? We will increase prices on Unity Pro and Enterprise in line with a previous price change. We'll have information about that soon. That's fine. I don't mind if they upgrade their plan pricing. That doesn't matter to me. I mean, it will eventually, but it's one of those things. Like, it's the same thing as the rev share. I don't mind if I'm making money and they want some of that money and there's a defined number. I'm fine with that. That makes sense. What changes are being made to Unity personal subscription plans? Unity subscriptions are included better. Unity subscriptions will include better collaboration, Unity DevOps, cloud-based assessment management, Unity Asset Manager, as well as role and access controls, team administration. These will be added to Unity subscription plans later this year. So, Unity Personal will include the Unity Asset Manager free tier, 10 GB storage, a maximum of 3 Unity DevOps seats. Ooh, I think that's new. Oh, hold on a second. So, where was I? Yeah, so Unity Personal will include the asset manager. Unity personal revenue and funding threshold will be increased from 100,000 to 200,000, which is awesome. And the use of Made with Unity splash screen will be optional starting with Unity 2023 long-term service. So that's a little flippy because a lot of people were upset about the splash screen having to pay $2,000 to get rid of it. Now, like, hey, you can get rid of it if you use the new long-term service. So that's interesting, but I've never had a problem with the splash screen, so whatever. Whatever. Unity Pro will include the Unity Asset Manager 550 gigabytes of storage per seat, pulled for a team to share. Along with the equal number of Unity DevOps seats, requiring 5 gigabytes of storage for 200 Unity fucking brain. Featuring 5 gigabytes of storage and 200 Windows build minutes. Team administration tools will to manage and access will also be included. Unity Enterprise will include the Unity Asset Manager, 120 gigabytes per seat, pooled to the team to share, along with equal number of Unity DevOps seats, team administration tools, including custom roles and SSO, provide a higher degree of control. The only one I'll probably have to worry about is Pro, eventually one day. Unity Personal. Will the runtime fee apply to Personal? No, the runtime fee will not apply. Will Unity Personal have the splash screen requirements? You will be able to choose whether to include the Made with Unity splash screen if you're in your game starting in Unity 2023 LTS. Is there still revenue limit for eligibility to Unity Personal? Yes, we're increasing the limit to 200,000, as I said. Funds raised in the last 12 months to use Unity Personal, starting with LTS version released in 2024, currently referred to as 2023 LTS or higher, or later rather. Are there any changes coming to Unity Personal? Starting November 2023, Unity Personal customers will get a new sign-in and online customer experience. Customers will need to be signed into the hub with their Unity ID and connect to the internet to use Unity. Ooh. If the internet connection is lost, customers may continue to use Unity for up to 30 days. Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Realistically, if you're making a game, you're going to have access to the internet anyways. And if you're somewhere that you don't have internet and you're working on your game, you're probably not going to be there for more than a month. I would assume everyone's different. There's always a situation that's an outlier, but that seems fine to me. Unity Plus. Will the runtime fee apply to Plus customers? No, the runtime fee. I didn't know Plus existed anymore. Are there changes coming to Unity Plus? What happens as September 12th, 2023? Plus no longer available to new subscribers. Current Unity Plus subscribers may upgrade to Unity Pro for the price of the Unity Plus. Ooh, I like that. For 1 year limited time offer, October 16th, 2023. That's awesome. Okay. Or continue to use Unity Plus and add or remove seats until March 27th, 2024, or renew Unity Plus for 1 additional year by March 27th, 2024. If no action is taken by the state, the plan will switch to Unity Personal at the end of your current term. Those are absolutely fine terms. A lot of people were annoyed that Plus got removed just out of nowhere. They didn't have any information. It just happened the day they announced this. Like, that was something that pissed me off. I don't have Plus, but like everyone who did, when this announcement happened, Plus just vanished. It wasn't like, hey, here's your 3-month notice, which they're provided to give us in their terms of service. It was just gone. Like, Plus should have gone away January 1st, 2024, like the initial runtime fees were going to be, but it didn't. What is the latest date you can renew your Unity Plus? What will happen to my Unity Plus subscription agreement after March? By March 27th, if you haven't renewed subscription Plus or upgrade to subscription, your existing contract will be expired. Pre personal. Okay, so basically turns that personal. New value coming to Unity plans. What are DevOps, Asset Manager, and Team Administration? That one doesn't matter. So yeah, that's Unity's updates on their runtime fee, which they addressed a lot of major concerns that I had. However, they did not address certain other concerns that I had. Again, it means I'm probably going to finish making Horde game in Unity and pray to whatever God will listen that Unity gets their head out of their ass and changes the engine for the positive and removes any doubt that people may need to switch in the future. Me personally, I don't see a need to switch in the future right now. I'm going to learn another engine because it would be nice to have another engine or two under my belt. It'd be nice to learn Unreal because there's a lot of Unreal jobs in the industry. And Godot is coming out of nowhere, so it'd be great to have that as an indie dev to be like, hey, I know Godot as well, in case someone's like, We don't use Unity or Unreal. We use Godot. I'm like, cool. That's an outlier case, but I know the engine. So this is not me 100% saying, yeah, Unity, you did awesome. It's me saying this is a good first step. But you need to keep doing good things for this to continue. So look forward to Horde game continuing development in Unity, and I will probably start posting videos on how my education is going in Godot and Unreal. Two separate engines, but I want to learn them both because it'd be nice to learn how to use them both. So I'll be posting updates on those two engines as well as I go along. But yeah, Horde game will be continuing development in Unreal. Sorry, Unity. Bye.